The Indian Navy has been commendably fulfilling its role as the guardian of the Indian Ocean, with numerous successful missions underscoring its dedication to enhancing safety in international waters. Recent operations such as the rescue of the UK merchant vessel MV Merlin Luanda from a missile attack and the assistance provided to ships and crews from various nations like the US, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Iran, Bulgaria, Malta, Liberia, Sri Lanka, and more, showcase its unwavering commitment. Distinguished by its proactive stance against piracy and terrorist threats, the Indian Navy has deployed a greater number of ships than even the UK and US combined. The Indian Navy is recognized as a formidable blue-water navy capable of conducting distant operations. However, it must transcend the confines of a conventional blue-water navy, given that India's adversaries remain persistent threats. This necessitates a strategic expansion, including the acquisition of a larger aircraft carrier, specifically nuclear-powered, rather than diesel, to effectively bolster India's naval prowess for the challenges ahead. Now, India currently operates 2 aircraft carriers: INS Vikramaditya, a 45,000-ton ship capable of carrying 36 aircraft, including MiGs and helicopters, and India's Indigenous INS Vikrant, which shares similar capabilities. These carriers provide the much-needed boost that the Navy sought. However, they fall short in addressing the evolving challenges. Recent developments highlight that conflicts are no longer confined by distance, necessitating a more expansive naval strategy. Expanding beyond the limitations of conventional gas turbine-powered carriers is essential. Gas turbine engines, while offering lower initial costs, present drawbacks such as limited operational range and endurance due to fuel consumption. Dependence on a steady fuel supply introduces vulnerabilities and operational constraints. In contrast, nuclear-powered carriers offer extended endurance and reduced reliance on external fuel sources. Additionally, they operate with lower acoustic signatures, enhancing stealth capabilities. Addressing the limitations of conventional carriers by transitioning to nuclear propulsion offers a promising solution. By overcoming fuel-related challenges, India can bolster both its military capabilities and deterrence posture, ensuring a more formidable naval force ready to confront modern threats. India recently gave the go-ahead for the construction of a second indigenous aircraft carrier, following the Vikrant-class model. With lessons learned from the development of the first carrier, expedited deployment is anticipated. In this video, the main focus is India's proposed supercarrier, the INS Vishal. It is intended to be India's third aircraft carrier following the IAC-1 and IAC-2. The INS Vishal will feature a new design with significant changes from the Vikrant class, including an increase in size and displacement. Consideration is being given to incorporating an electromagnetic aircraft launch system. A supercarrier typically boasts a displacement of 60,000 to 65,000 tons, and Vishal is poised to meet these criteria as a flat-top carrier. However, India lacks the expertise to independently construct such a carrier, a challenge shared even by Russia. While Russia has plans for future carrier development, it lacks experience with flat-top designs similar to US carriers. India may require assistance from other countries to navigate the complexities of such projects. And India is already looking for a viable design for its supercarrier. In 2019, reports surfaced indicating India's interest in acquiring detailed plans for HMS Queen Elizabeth from the UK to serve as the basis for INS Vishal's design. In the picture, you can see the HMS Queen Elizabeth with a ski jump. This is because it was initially meant for Katabar, but later changed due to budgetary constraints to develop the experimental magnetic catapults. So they went with Stovall instead, but might switch to Katabar later. This design adaptation may appeal to India due to Queen Elizabeth's advanced automated systems and larger aircraft capacity compared to INS Vikrant. However, it's important to note that Queen Elizabeth is not a nuclear-powered carrier. India may either need to develop its own nuclear propulsion technology, as they did with their nuclear submarines propulsion systems, or seek external assistance from other countries. Given the US's reluctance to share nuclear technology, France emerges as a potential collaborator for India's nuclear carrier ambitions. Reports suggest ongoing discussions between India and France regarding nuclear attack submarines. Following the successful P-75 project for conventional submarines, France's willingness to share sensitive technologies such as AIP for submarines and offer 100% technology transfer for co-developing fighter engines underscores the potential for a strong defense partnership between the two countries, perhaps rivaling the long-standing partnership with Russia. France currently operates the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, which is powered by two Areva K-15 pressurized water reactors, each with 150 megawatt, along with two Alstom steam turbines totaling 61 megawatt. The aircraft carrier can be considered a hybrid. These nuclear reactors provide propulsion for the carrier, powering its propulsion system, including the shafts that drive the propellers. The carrier also has a diesel-electric propulsion system. This system typically powers auxiliary systems on the ship, such as lighting, heating, and other electrical systems not directly related to propulsion. A hybrid option could be considered for INS Virat, though it may come with the drawback of higher construction costs for the carrier. France is also planning a future aircraft carrier, with a displacement of approximately 75,000 tons, equipped with two K-22 pressurized water reactors, each with a thermal power output of 220 megawatt. Given the defense partnership between France and India, France may assist India in acquiring the power plant technology for its own aircraft carriers. Even if France hesitates to provide India with nuclear propulsion technology, India has demonstrated capability in developing its own propulsion systems. For instance, India has successfully developed an 83-megawatt reactor for its nuclear submarines, with plans underway for a larger 190-megawatt reactor. While there are differences in the specific design and configuration of nuclear reactors used in submarines versus aircraft carriers, the underlying principles are similar, and adapting such technology for aircraft carriers will definitely take time. The United States successfully employed nuclear propulsion technology in its earlier aircraft carriers, notably the USS Enterprise commissioned in 1961. This carrier utilized a nuclear reactor, the A2W, derived from the S2W reactor design used in submarines. But the real question is, does the Indian Navy even desire a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier? While the Indian Navy did harbor ambitions of integrating a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier into its fleet during the inception of the IAC-2 plans in 2016, the Indian government advised moderation due to fiscal constraints. Allocating the necessary funds for a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier would have required significant portions of the annual capital budget over a decade, a prospect deemed impractical by defense finance officials. However, with shifting priorities and evolving geopolitical dynamics, the Indian government is now prioritizing measures to enhance the Navy's capabilities. Recognizing the pivotal role of a strong Navy in projecting national power, the government is undertaking substantial initiatives to fortify the maritime force. Moreover, numerous reports indicate China's ambition to nuclearize its fourth aircraft carrier, citing advantages like unlimited range. If substantiated, India cannot afford to remain passive. Given the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean, the situation warrants the deployment of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers alongside nuclear attack submarines to effectively safeguard India's maritime interests.